I figured I'd go live for a few minutes just to say hi. I know nobody's expecting me to be live right now, but listen, I've been doing a lot of things, y'all. First of all, last week was spring break, so I was extremely busy with the kids, right? And I'm glad that this week is not spring break, but I feel myself just, spring is springing. It's cold here in Michigan right now, though. It's like 40 something degrees. It was ice in the rain earlier. You say don't do it. No, I'm not. Listen, truth is, I got to change the title because this ain't going to be no messy live. This is not going to be a messy live. It's not going to be no live of talking about. I'm just about to just ramble. Just to say hi to y'all, let y'all know that everything is okay. I want to just say I miss y'all so much. I have been so crazy busy, but I have been watching some YouTube. I watched Philly Phil. I watched Truth Is. I watched Bam's live. I watched Vaughn, Alex. I've been watching a lot of people, a lot of different content. I know you were nervous. Truth is. I told y'all, I'm like, uh, it's a lot I want to say because it's a lot that I see going on. But Joy, hey everybody, hey y'all, I gotta speak to y'all, Spencer. Hey, minor not minor, Samantha, Shadow. Oh my God, Shadow. I'm just like, what in the world is going on? Then I listened to this lady. I got to start watching this other lady's content. It's been a lot going on for those of you who don't know. There has been a lot going on these YouTube streets. A lot of like little just petty stuff, nothing major, but it's all been interesting. But I hear some things I wanted to talk about that I'm not going to talk about. But I just want to let y'all know that I was okay. I saw Jamila in the chat the other day, and I told her I was going to go live, I think yesterday or the day before. I can't even remember now. But I have really been I got to be honest. I have not wanted to go live because the things that I want to talk about I can't talk about right now, so I haven't wanted to go live, but I've been paying attention. I've been paying attention. Jamila. Y'all, if y'all have not, y'all got to subscribe to Jamila's channel because she's going to be doing a live pretty soon. She did her first live in Times Square, making me miss New York. You know, I used to live in New York, Jamila, we lived there for 4 years. I lived in Tribeca. So, um, I miss New York sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. The hustle and bustle. Hey everybody, hey Nisha. Did I speak? I spoke to Spencer. I gotta speak to everybody. I gotta speak to everybody. Lord, city that never sleeps. You ain't never lying. Man, I listen. New York is a city. New York. I ain't even gonna go into no detail. I ain't even go into no Times Square. Yeah, I love Times Square. Love Times Square. I love the fashion district. Um, I love Times Square. Uh-uh. So pretty much same old. Yeah, it's the same old mess out here, Samantha. And it's really, really interesting being a spectator. You start to see things a whole lot differently. I'm really starting to pay attention to when I tell y'all as me being a type of content creator, because I can't speak for everybody. I never really watched the chats. I never really paid attention to the chats. But now I see how people can get triggered, or people can get, especially if you pay attention to what people are saying and stuff like that. I never watch the chats. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. I do not watch content that I think is going to trigger me. I don't watch nobody's channel. I don't watch any of the ops. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. I can't lie. I don't watch none of them. I don't watch their channels. I don't watch their content. I do get screenshots and stuff sometimes, but I have really literally asked everybody not to send me anything, because I don't want to be triggered and I don't want to go live. And I know people will poke at you and try to get you to go live and try to get you to like engage with them. But I need for you guys to see who these, well, as far as I go, I need for y'all to see that it's not me that's the obsessed one. It's definitely not me. It's them. Because I listened to some other content and it was like, and you all up UP's ass and that, and I ain't even been out here. And I'm like, why are these weirdo ass bitches still constantly got me on their tongue and I'm not even out here? Just weird, trying to pull me into their mess. And that Shadow doing video, or Bam doing a video, and Bam has known these people way longer than I've ever known them. And it's like they always seem to insert me in it somewhere. And I know you behind the scenes and y'all cooking up. What? You a little YT paranoid, man. I mean, nobody. Who are you to plot on? Y'all who, those who know, y'all know who I'm talking about, because I'm not giving any free promotion anymore. It's over. You weirdos are too damn obsessed. Too obsessed. I'm God to y'all. I am God. So God is leaving the building. The fuck? I mean, my goodness. They are, hey, Beefcake. Hey, Sir Ike. Yeah, that girl, they are, Sir Ike, they are so weird. I'll be listening like, oh my God, you freaking weirdos. Everything has to be about me. And then I was listening to this old video by this guy, and he was saying, you know, what they really want to do is they want to be like UP, and he's from their sector. They want to be like her. They want to have the support. And I see they don't get any views. They don't even go live unless it's about me or Bam. They don't even go live. If it's not me, Bam, or one of us over here to talk about, they not talking about nothing else. Nothing else. Until recently. Girl, ooh, Spencer, that $40,000. Did y'all see the recent one too? Where the well, I ain't gonna even get into that, because I know it's one person that really, really wants me to make things about them. And if I talk about religion at all, they're going to swear that it's all about them. So let me shut the fuck up about that too. But I've been sharing some stuff. It's like, damn, these people are sick, just sick. But yeah, that was and did y'all, wait a minute, did y'all listen to the Ricky Smiley show, where y'all know he's from Michigan? Y'all know he's from Michigan, and y'all know that they here in Michigan, it's big. Like even on Facebook and everything, everybody is talking about that. He used to be he's from Michigan, but Michigan pastors and some of these Detroit pastors, they some of the biggest hustlers. A lot of them used to be pimps. A lot of the, I can't even go into no detail, but a lot of them used to be pimp. And I mean, real life pimps or real life dealers, like street hustlers. A lot of them used to be straight up pimps. So, who I want to talk about it so bad, but baby, hey, Lemon Pepper. Lock the chat now. Yeah, let's put it on subscribers only, because I just don't want no drama. I don't want anybody in here, Y'all, it's so much that I'm seeing. It's so many people out here. Have y'all been like tell me what y'all been watching besides the Marvin Sapp stuff. What? Yeah, close the door. Shut the door. Close the door. Close the door. I said close the door. Y'all, that's prosperity preaching. It's all about the money. I shared a on my community wall, I shared out a channel that talks about like religion and stuff like that a lot. And he was talking about prosperity pastors and all of that stuff and all of the fake prophets and stuff like that out here. And it's a lot of that manipulation through religion and doctrine. And I was listening to Alice's live, and I've been listening to a lot of people talk about this. Thanks to Vaughn. I think Vaughn is seeing her and her change and stuff like that. Now, let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I believe Vaughn in her change. I believe that she is truly trying to change her life and elevate herself. It gets a little scary when you can actually see people trying to weaponize her change. So I understood where Truth Is was coming from, and I understood where Bam was coming from. Like, don't try to weaponize somebody that's really trying to, move forward. But I ain't touching it. I ain't touching it because I think that, like I told y'all, you can not believe something or not. How did I say it? Because I need to say it the right way, because I don't want anybody to think, because I think a lot of people, even I think that my conversation, some people thought that I don't believe in God. I believe in God. I believe in a higher power. I also believe in evolution. I also believe the world is round. So I believe some of the things in the Bible. I just don't think that the Bible was written by God. I just don't, because I know historically it was written by man. That's just my thing. So I don't believe in the idea of organized religion. And that's just because it separates us. And it just doesn't bring people together. Everybody gets into their own mindset about what they believe, and then it's a war. It's like, if you're not thinking this way, you're automatically going to hell. I was listening to the conversation, whose channel was it on, where they were talking about homosexuality. It was on Sakina's panel. Shout out to Sakina. It was on Sakina's panel, and Sakina is highly against homosexuals. My daughter's a lesbian. I don't think anything less of Sakina or anybody else who doesn't believe that homosexuality is the right thing, or it's because they have a right to think and feel whatever they think and feel. Just as long as they ain't putting their hands on my baby or dragging her across the street, you still have a right to think the way that you feel, Written by God through man. I believe in God, but not, really. Yeah, JB. And I think that a lot of people think that if you don't believe in the Bible, you automatically going to hell. It's a book. It's a book. It's an inanimate object. That's what it is. And even all of the different names, none of the books say written by God. And the other thing is so many things that that you disagree with people on, but still feel as though you have the right to move in your own direction. I'm not an atheist. I could never be an atheist. I see too much beauty in the world for me to think that something evil created this world. I don't think that anything evil created this land that we live on, because it provides everything to sustain every living creature that's on it. Not only just man, every living creature. It has to be a higher power. There has to be a higher power. I just, and some scientists will say there is no God. Everything evolved from nothing. Well, then God is the energy that created the evolution. The evolution, that's the higher power, is energy. So whatever you believe is what you believe, and you have a right to believe that. And nobody, like Von's, her story shouldn't, her path shouldn't be criticized, just like mine shouldn't be criticized. I used to be on that path though. Shoot. Yeah, God does look at the heart. God looks at the heart. But the thing about it is, I don't think that God smites people. Man smites people. I don't think that God creates plagues. Plagues are created pretty much by nature. But God is nature. I don't think that there's any vengeful thing in the God that I know. That's just what I'm saying. And I don't think that God favors one man over the other. So when people say, "Oh, God favors me over you," and I'm gonna ask God to strike you down, what? You gonna ask God to strike me down? How is that possible? And we got the same father or mother. Because I also don't believe that God is a one trick pony like man. I don't think that God is a man. you know, a man. I don't think that women are insuperior or like inferior, rather, inferior to men. I don't see how something that gives birth to you can be inferior to you. That's just the way that I think, and nothing's going to change that. I've been thinking that for, shoot, how many years now? I started changing my thoughts in my 30s. I'm damn near 60 now, you know? So there's nothing that is going to take me back to the way that I used to think. I used to believe, um, like a lot of Christians today believe, I used to believe that God was a vengeful God and would strike you down and would, you know, I used to believe in tithing. I used to believe like that. I used to participate in all of that. That's why I'm saying it's like you can't, when somebody has already evolved past something, for people who are new to it or still into it, or that's their belief, you can't pull somebody, not somebody like me, back into it. So, hey, Shay, it's a lot of evil. Yeah, it's a lot of evil. It's a lot of evil attached to the church, period. And the church is and that's not all churches. Do any of y'all watch African Diaspora? Do y'all ever watch his channel? Because he was talking about the difference in Christianity today as opposed to back in the 60s when the churches actually clothed and fed the homeless, and the pastor actually lived in the neighborhood, and they would do outreach services, and it would be going door to door, not to force you to go to church, but just to encourage you. They had drug treatment programs. They wasn't effing on the little kids in the church. It wasn't those patterns of just, it wasn't a lot of that going on. But now every time you turn around, it's about money. You find these pastors sleeping with the people in the church, male and female. It's a lot of just, and it's all about it. It seems like a lot of these churches are moving towards prosperity, what they call prosperity preaching. Read the Bible. Baby, that plays the devil's app, baby. That's the thing. You can't reach everybody. And you can look like you're trying, even if you're not trying to weaponize the Bible, your judgment, just because you feel a certain way. Because me and my family, we talked about that. I'm like, oh my God, old girl calling me the devil. They calling me the devil like I'm satanic or something. And I ain't even done the shit that they done. You know what I'm saying? I haven't in my life or even on YouTube, haven't even done that. So to be called the devil, and people are saying, oh, you the devil and you the most evil person out here. Girl, no, I'm the person whose voice you can't stand to hear. And you want everybody to think that I'm the devil. But what you about to show people, and I'm not talking about any specific person right now. When you weaponize God and you weaponize the Bible and you weaponize religion and you use it as a judgment, you actually push people away. It works in the opposite. You push people away because people are going to be like, dang, I don't want to join no church that's full of just mean people that's pointing a finger at me and trying to tell me what to do. And I'm a whole adult. Or like, you know God better than anybody else, or you know the Bible better than anybody else, but you're using it to like chastise. And don't nobody want to be whooped on every day. Hey, Cynthia. Welcome in, girl. Where JJ? No, I usually see him. I see you. Hey, girl, welcome. But that's what I'm saying about that. You know, I lost. Listen, I even had somebody. Hey, Bam, I had somebody DM me, ask me for my phone number. Let me tell y'all this because this happened recently. I asked somebody, had somebody, a supporter, a silent supporter, and she DM'd me and she asked me, she said, give me your phone number because I want to talk to you. And she put some scriptures in the DM. And I was like, okay, I'm familiar with these scriptures. So I texted her my phone number. I put her my phone number in a DM and she texted me. I text her back. She started, she said that I heard you say that you believe in God, but you don't believe in the Bible. She said, how can you believe in God and not believe in the Bible? I said, how do Buddhists believe in God and not follow the teachings of the Bible? How do the Hindus believe in God but not follow the teachings of the Bible? How do the Jews follow God and don't believe in the teachings of the Bible? Like, how does any other religion follow God, like the Most High? I'm not talking about the religion, the separated religions. I said, how do, and I went on and on and on. I said, it's the same thing. It's just that I don't have a religion. I still believe in a higher power, though. She said that she did not think that it was possible to believe in God without believing in the words of the Bible. And she basically told me that she was going to unsubscribe and she wasn't going to be supporting anymore. And do you know what I told her? God bless you. That's it. That's pretty much all that I could say. Because there's no way that I'm not trying to change your mind about the way that you feel. And I accept you for what you believe, even though I believe something different. I told her, I said, God bless you. And I wish her the very best. And I hope, even if she has unsubscribed and is no longer watching, I hope that she knows that. And for anybody else, because the thing about it is that you have to, at the end of the day, you have to do what makes you feel good inside. And that's for everybody. What makes you feel like, I don't want to acquiesce to somebody or anybody, any man, I want to be my own individual. I don't want to have to, I'm not a follower. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those people that can be led like a sheep, led like, like a lamb to slaughter. I just can't, that's just not me. And I'm not saying that But I knew that me coming out and saying what I was going to say, um, I knew that me saying that, oh, hey, y'all coming up in here. Listen, I knew that me saying and actually giving my honest to God, um, truthful feelings about how I felt. Like I listen to people say, "Oh, I believe in God," but they dragging people all day long. What God you believe in? I mean, they be dragging them all day long, and all kind of violent, disgusting, and hurtful things will come out of their mouths, and then boom, you talking about God. It's such a contradicting thing to me, and it's confusing to a lot of people. Like, is that okay with? And I guess the vengeful God from the Bible, it would be okay, because the God from the Bible is a vengeful, mean God, and is a part of wrath and destruction. And but that's the Old Testament God. But then they tell us, no, ignore the Old Testament and pay attention to the New Testament, because we're not paying attention to the Old Testament. But how do you ignore the Old Testament when that's when creation started? That's when Jesus's name was first, where the Son of God was first mentioned. How do you ignore the past and look towards the future? That it's just asinine to me. It's asinine to me, y'all. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. To be, yes, they should be entitled to believe in what they believe, and I'm not trying to stop anybody else's salvation. So why would anybody care if I went to hell? I don't believe in their hell. But why would anybody care because I don't believe in the Bible? I believe that Jesus was the Son of God. And before the Bible was changed, Jesus said, I am a son of God. He didn't say I am the Son of God. And see, and it's all about interpretation and weaponization. And when you are, and I hate to use race in this, when you are Black in America, if you don't understand how the Bible was used to and weaponized against us as a people, oh, how it was changed, how it morphed, how it differs from the past, I don't know what to say, So those are things that, you know, you said, let's move. Hey, Lou. Hey, y'all, listen. Lou, I'm gonna reach out to you because I'm about to do something. I see that y'all channels are getting struck and stuff. Um, so I'm gonna reach out to you. But anywho, I ain't gonna talk about that on here. Yeah. I wasn't even gonna talk about the God stuff. Dang on Spencer. Then said something about that $40,000 and it got me thinking, like, that happened a year ago, almost a year ago. And I was listening to Marvin Sapp, and did y'all see that Kanye interview though? Baby. That Kanye interview. Oh my God. Kanye was so fucking manic. I don't know. It's like everybody is saying, oh, Kanye's a brilliant genius, and Kanye seemed like he was really going through to me. That's just my opinion, and I'm moving on from that. But listen, he said Rex said only came in and hear you say, "Hey Rex, hey Rex, Rex." Listen, I saw Bams ask you when you was gonna do another live. I started to share it out, but I didn't want to get in no trouble. I didn't want to get in no trouble, so I didn't share it out. But I see you, Reckless. I see you. Hey, Miss Fab. So let me say this. Yesterday was the first, and I was supposed to me and where's have y'all seen Ronald Isley out here on these YouTube streets? Where's Ron Isley at? She gone. I ain't seen her. She is silent. So me and Ronald Isley was supposed to be getting doxxed on the first, on April Fool's Day. It never happened. It never happened. I was just wondering when that was gonna happen, but it never happened. So apparently somebody had a change of heart and they didn't dox us, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, I didn't believe that they had anything on Ronald Isley anyway, because I know that person to be a liar anyway. So when the person reached out to me and told me, and if you're in the bushes, the person that reached out to me, well, two people reached out to me and told me that told me that Ronald Isley, it was supposed to be a big expose done on Ronald Isley. They were supposed to be showing all of these pictures and all of these records, and supposedly they got medical records of Ronald Isley, and they say that they have her medical history and that she's been in these psych wards and that she wears diapers and all of this stuff. I'm thinking to myself, when I was like, damn, that sounds familiar. Sounds like exactly what that same person said about me and what others say about me. That sounds so reused. Over and over and over again. For those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, that's good, because we're gonna keep it moving. But we weren't doxxed on the April Fool's Day, from what I understand. There was no hey Denise. There was supposed to be a I guess there was supposed to be a live done or something shared on Discord about us. And then the person said that they didn't want to share it because it might be illegal. So it's stalking little kids at their school. That's illegal too. Like harassing people to the point, going to their houses and all of that stuff and staking out their houses and all of that weird shit. That's rude. That's weird too. That's illegal too. So you break the law all the time, but you don't want to break the law on YouTube and on Discord. They said diapers. They said Ronald Isley wear. They said, it's a lie. This person don't know who the hell Ron. This the same person. For those of y'all who don't know, this is the same person that allegedly went to court. The one that boo-booed and pee-peed outside. This is the same person that supposedly got a motion to get all of Ronald Isley's information. Now she's saying, because I went and listened to the lot, because they said it had my picture on the she had my picture up. Just a weird person, just a stalker. Y'all are seeing how it happens. Y'all seeing how obsessed this person is with me. But anyway, I'll move on. So this person that supposedly went through the legal process by saying that she went to court, right? She allegedly went to court to get Ron Isley's information through a motion, right? Which we all know is a lie. Impossible. She was supposed to be putting Ronald Isley's information out here. I knew the woman didn't have that girl's information. So it didn't have, so she was supposed to be doxing Ronald Isley. Now she's saying that somebody on Instagram or somebody from Big O or something is this dark web doxer. And she's saying that this dark web doxer went in and found all of Ronald Isley's information, but don't nobody know her first name. Don't nobody know her last name. And the only thing that they have is a picture of her from a camera slip. Don't nobody even know who she is. But This woman is saying that somebody from Big O went in and found all of her information and she has it. And she's saying that she has her medical records and saying that the woman was in a psych ward. Just lies on top of lies. I just cannot. Hey, KT. Hey, Alec. Y'all coming on up in here. I hope y'all hit the thumbs up. Y'all, because ever since they say I denounced the Lord, people in their feelings. I haven't denounced the Lord. I haven't denounced God either. I just denounced y'all Bible as being the word of God. I just don't believe that. I don't believe in your religion. I am no longer Christian. I still believe in Jesus. Jesus was the Son of God. I still believe that. So it is what it is. Hold on one second. I think somebody's trying to ask me a question. A little person. Don't drink all of that. Let me show you how much you can have. Just half of this. Can't have all of it.
Right here?
No, right here. Right there. Right there. Okay. If it's lower than that mark, you're going to be in trouble. Y'all, these kids all the time asking for juice or pop or something, and I do not let them drink. I don't let Baby UP have hardly any like carbonated or anything with caffeine in it because he'll be bouncing off the walls. But anywho, Marvin Sapp. Because I'm going to get away from that because we all know that woman ain't got nothing. Just like she didn't have no motion. Just like she ain't got no money. Just like she ain't got no job. You ain't got no job. You ain't got no job, Tommy. You still working for DoorDash, girl. And you're mad. I would be mad too, girl. I would be mad too. But she ain't got no job. And she working for DoorDash. Ain't nothing wrong with it, though. 60 something years old, working for DoorDash, going up and down stairs in the rain, in the cold rain. I wonder, do you ever think if people have y'all seen those videos where people who have worked for DoorDash and Grubhub and all of those food delivery things, have y'all seen them eating the food from the bag? I bet you she be stealing French fries. I bet you this woman that I'm talking about, I bet you she be stealing French fries and she probably licked the cheese on your hamburger. She probably licked the cheese and eat one of the pickles off of your damn hamburger. Oh my God. And then listen, had the nerve to be talking about Ron Isley's looks. What? Was talking about her nose. Always talking about my looks, but the woman don't have a neck. Her face is sunken. She got bags up under her eyes. It looked like she went to the dollar store and everything was 50 fucking cents. Okay. She is miserable. Miserable. But anywho, that woman ain't got nothing on no damn Ron Isley. She wasn't gonna do nothing but go on goddamn listen, I was telling one of the people that I was texting with, I said the only thing that bitch gonna do is go on goddamn whatever Discord and talk about me. She ain't gonna talk about Ron Isley. Only thing she gonna do is go on Discord and dox the fuck out of me again. She ain't talking about no damn body else. Okay, put it back. Okay. Good job. You listened. I'm proud of you. There. Girl, I don't trust that DoorDash and none of that stuff either. Mm-mm. No. No, they be eating your stuff and digging in it and stealing French fries and stealing chicken. Listen, you paid for a 10 piece and you got 9. Especially with somebody like her delivering your food. Shoo. Big old big butt. Bust her on down. This, from what I understand, she done bust the bed. She done bust the bed. Big musty. Big funk. Bust the damn. This big motherfucker that bust the damn. Them bags can hold up to 300 pounds. How the hell she done bust the damn bed, y'all? I cannot. Girl, I cannot with these folks. Mm-mm. Girl, acting like a fool in it because she couldn't get no drugs. Listen. Oh my God. Oh my God, if I could go back in time and release some of them old videos, but I just can't right now. I can't right now. I wish I could. I wish I could. I wish I could. I would show y'all. She was drug seeking. Drug seeking. That's all she was doing. She wanted that Dilaudid. She wanted some food and some Dilaudid. Oh, she needed all of these tests, and doctors gonna do this, and they gotta take out her liver, they gotta take out her spleen. She bleeding out her booty hole. All of this stuff is happening. All of this stuff is happening to her body. Now all of a sudden she fine. Now all of a sudden she's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with her, and it was all stress. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You said what? Listen, I can't say the name, and don't nobody put no names or no references to that person in my chat. I don't want no references, no nicknames, no nothing in my chat about any of them. If people don't know, they just don't know. I don't even want any names or anything in my chat about any of them. Yeah, all of a sudden she's fine. All of a sudden she is fine now. And listen, those idiots. And you know, are the only people that be in that chat is the ones that want her to talk shit. Because that's the only thing they encourage her to do is to talk shit. They don't support her when she's trying to be positive. They don't support her when she's trying to be fake, talking about God and being fake and stuff. They don't support none of that stuff. The only time they support her and give her cash apps is when she's talking shit about me. That's it. She's a paid bully. I told y'all that. I told y'all. And I told you she wasn't nothing but somebody's tampon. I told y'all she was a tampon. Now the people who haven't seen can see now. Tampon. That's all she is. You took that drug after surgery. You said wish it was legal to buy. Listen. Some of that stuff. But that's the kind of woman she goes there. That's when she goes there. She goes there for the drugs, to get high, to get that feeling and all of that stuff. That girl wasn't a bit more bleeding out her well, she could have been. She could have been. I don't know. She had everybody talking about she had cancer and all that. Well, I'm like, that girl ain't got no damn cancer. She ain't got no damn cancer. I would wish that on anybody, but she didn't have no damn cancer. I knew she didn't. Shoot. Baby, no. But that's what I said I wasn't even gonna talk about none of that stuff. Marvin Sapp. Marvin Sapp in his response on Ricky Smiley's show. I want to talk about that. Did y'all hear that man? Did y'all hear that man? Now everybody heard him. Like he said, it was a year ago. It was almost a year ago when he did that conference. But did you hear his explanation? Did y'all hear Marvin Sapp's explanation for asking for that money? First of all, oh, I want to react to it so bad. Y'all, let me grab my speaker because I want to act. Listen, if any of y'all have a problem, if any of y'all are about this, ain't about religion or anything else. This ain't about y'all feeling a type of way. I'm not coming after anybody in particular. I'm talking about the news that everybody else has been talking about on YouTube. Plus, I'm late anyway, even though I was watching it. I'm late about talking about it, but I want to talk about it because this man said that he was a pastor here in a church in Michigan, okay? And he was. He ain't lying. He ain't lying about that part. But he says that he didn't get paid for the entire time that he didn't get paid for the entire time that he was pastor at that church. We got to react to that. I call bullshit. Let me mute for a second and I'm going to grab my speaker. I'm going to be right back. Hold on. Okay, so I got my speaker here, y'all. Now, what us gonna do is we're gonna react to a little bit of Marvin Sapp talking about his life and ministry. What really tickled me was when Ricky Smiley asked him, he said, how do you get paid? How do you could tell he didn't want to answer that question. You could tell that they had a conversation about what they were talking about before they went, on air. But he did not want to answer that question about how he got paid. But he did say he did not get any of the $40,000. And he also said he went to the conference and he didn't get paid to be a part of that conference. Now, I don't know whether that's true or not. I'm not going to say that's a lie because I don't have any proof or any evidence. I'm going to say I don't believe it, but I don't know whether he's telling the truth or not. Let me hold on. Let me go to this one. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. Even Roland Martin reacted to it a day ago. It's a lot of people that reacted to that. And it's a lot of pastors that do that kind of church, that prophet preaching and stuff. So it's sad. Hold on one second. So let me find it. It's not in my history. I wonder if, because I wanted to play it from Ricky Smiley's channel, but it's not in my history. Dang. Ricky Smiley might strike me if he can find my channel. Hold on. Y'all, why can't I find it? Why can't I find it? I'm probably looking over it. Marvin got tons. Yeah, he's a millionaire. He said he don't need no $40,000. And I believe it. He don't need no $40,000. Here we go. Okay, here we go.
Guest has been all over the internet lately, and Rick Smiley Morning Show 25 minutes after that.
Let me just start by saying first, Ricky, I thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, sir.
I thank you for the opportunity to be able to come on your show and for you to use your platform to give me a chance to just, add some context.
Yeah.
Now, what I found really, really powerful in a bad way is that when Marvin Sapp went on Ricky Smiley's show, he didn't mention God once. It was all me, I gave, I did this, I did. He didn't mention God one time. And when I tell y'all, I'm not saying that Marvin Sapp has this sort of y'all know how when some people are in a position of power, they start feeling like they are the chosen one, or they are Jesus, or they are the second coming or of Christ or something. I'm not saying that that's Marvin Sapp, but I find it perplexing when pastors, when clergy, when leaders, or even teachers who are supposed to be pushing you towards something don't even respect that something themselves, that they don't even acknowledge that something themselves. That to me is very, very telling about this profit driven or manipulative way of Christianity today. It's all follow me, not follow Christ, not follow God, not follow God's teachings. Follow my teachings the way I teach it to you. You got to listen to me, not, and even when they even twist the Bible, take the words and twist them to mean what they want them to mean, put their own brand new interpretation on it. Like, I was watching another live about this subject, and they were talking about how preachers now are saying they're relating God sending Jesus, his only begotten son, to earth to save humanity as tithing. They said that some preachers are now saying that Jesus was a tithing offering. To who, though? When you're only supposed to tithe to God or to the church for God, right? But they said that God paid and sent Jesus to earth as the form of tithing. All of this stuff is just blowing my mind. But let's listen to Marvin, and we're going to go over this. Hold up 1 second. I got the wrong one now. Put it on the wrong one now. Here we go. Let me go back.
Rick's Smiley Morning Show, 25 minutes after the hour, y'all. Our next guest, it is the attacks that on you and the death threats on you and your family.
Well, let me
just whatever way you want to start.
Let me just start by saying first, Ricky, I thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, sir.
I thank you for the opportunity to be able to come on your show and for you to use your platform to give me a chance to just, add some context.
Yeah.
Some context and clarity to, a clip that, a whole lot of people have seen. Sadly, one of the things that has happened is, people have created a narrative that is absolutely not true. Number one, the narrative was created, excuse me, that I raised money at my church, that I kept the people at my church hostage until I raised $40,000 for me. That's the narrative that has been shared, that locked folks up at my church, that, I made them give $40,000 and I wouldn't allow them to leave until they gave it to me. And to be honest with you, that is absolutely false.
Yeah.
Number one, that offering was taken last year. This was a service that happened last August. Number two, it didn't happen at my local church. It actually happened at a national organization's international meeting where churches from all over the country, all over the world came together for the purpose of celebrating the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. People took issue.
Now, I know every Christian knows what those conferences are like and what convocation is like and what all of those hold up, they keep on coming in, y'all. I'm telling y'all, that's why I'm telling y'all, cannot find this quiet time just to do a live for a couple of hours. Hold on. Okay, so you can hold on, y'all. Let me give him a change. No, because you need to take this off and put your stuff back on. Hold on 1 second. I'm telling y'all, this is hey Star. Oh my God, this thing keep on skipping to the next video. Why? Why does it keep on doing that? Okay, wait a minute. Give me a second, buddy. Here we come, y'all. They saying somebody trying to hack my computer right now. That's what my security thing is saying, that somebody is trying to hack into your system right now. My you keep a knocking, but you can't come in. You keep a knocking, but you can't come in. Okay, here we go. I don't know why I keep on skipping back, y'all. I'm gonna stop this because I keep on going back.
That's the narrative that has been shared, that lock folks up in my church, that, you know, I made them give $40,000 and I wouldn't allow them to leave until they gave it to me. And to be honest with you, that is absolutely false.
Yeah.
Number one, that offering was taken last year. This was a service that happened last August. Number two, it didn't happen at my local church. It actually happened at a national organization's international meeting where churches from all over the country, all over the world came together for the purpose of celebrating the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. People took issue with me saying, shut the doors. Understand, I never said lock the doors.
Yeah.
I said, shut the doors. Shutting doors mean that people still have the ability to go in and out. They've taken issue with.
Now, let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think that the people would have thought, now this is an authority figure. And these people, from what I understood, some people were getting up when he started asking for the offering. Now, this is what people are saying on social media. This is what was reading on Facebook and all of that kind of stuff. They were saying that the doors were open, and when he started asking for more money, people started walking out. Now, a lot of people, like, this was the second offering of the day, from what I understand, that before in the offering, they were asking for hundreds from people. They wanted people to commit to giving hundreds of dollars, not just $20, hundreds of dollars per person. So they wanted $800 and then $500, and they were setting it up to where, you know, another pastor, another preacher or prophet, or I don't know, bishop or whatever they are, he stood up and he asked for, you know, he wanted $50,000 or $30,000 or something like that. So it was a lot of money that they were asking for from this conference. Now, what is also interesting, hey, April. So what was also interesting is that Marvin Sapp said people could come and go as they please. Well, people were trying to go out the doors, from what I understand. And you told the ushers to close the doors. Close the doors. And I even was listening to some woman on Facebook. She said that when they said close the doors, they closed the doors and she was walking towards the door. So she turned around and went back and sat down. She did not, some of them people did not feel like they could leave. Now, I'm not saying that was kidnapping or anything like that. What I'm saying is that when you're put in a position and you have these people of power, you want to be respectful. You don't want to cause a scene. You don't want to cause a ruckus. So somebody like Marvin Sapp saying aggressively, close the doors will make some people sit down and just stay there. I'm not saying that you kidnapped anybody. I'm not going with that narrative because I disagree with that. But some people could kind of feel like I don't want to cause a scene. So I'm just going to sit back down. Don't want Marvin Sapp yelling at me in front of 4,000 people. I cannot believe this damn thing. I'm going to stop. Don't want Marvin Sapp yelling at me in front of 4,000. Playing my damn live and I keep on going back. It won't let me stay where I was. Why?
Did you see that?
Why?
People are talking. Watch that Rick Smiley Morning Show 25.
The $40,000, if it was $40,000 that was raised, was never given to me. That money was raised for the purpose of taking care of the budget for their conference, not Marvin Sapp. Number two, it didn't happen in my church. It happened in Baltimore. Number three, people take issue with me being firm with the ushers. Anybody that goes to church, ushers one-on-one, that's the first thing they teach you as being an usher, is that there are 3 times you don't walk. You don't walk during the altar call. You don't walk during prayer. You don't walk during the offering. One of the reasons being is because of the sacredness of the moment. But it's also about security. As a pastor, we understand and we know that churches are being robbed at gunpoint. It's happening all over the country. This is not something I'm making.
It is happening all over the country, but chances are they would already be in the audience. If the church was going to be robbed during the offering, chances are it wasn't going to be by masked gunmen coming in while the doors are open. They would probably more than likely already be in the audience. I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to move on.
This is factual. So if you got
y'all let me know
in the room,
I know it's a bunch of Christians in here and a bunch of Christians that even support this channel, but y'all let me know how y'all feel, because I know a lot of y'all go to church. I no longer go to church. How do y'all feel about what happened? Do you feel like he was justified because he is the man of God and he is, part of the leadership of the church? Do y'all feel like this man was justified in his actions? Because even on Ricky Smiley's channel, I keep on wanting to say Spivey, and the reason I want to say Spivey is because a few years ago, my family supported Reverend Spivey. He even came to a cookout at our house. I even got pictures of it. I should put it on social media. But he came to a cookout at our house. He was the pastor of a church that we were familiar with, somebody that we know and love, is very, very active in that church. I'm not going to say the name of the church. He was a pastor of that church where he ran for city council, right? He ran for city council, and this person that we love, we love Reverend Spivey too, but he came to our house. We did a little campaign. He told everybody he was running. We had a little party for him. Got a lot of donations, helped him, with his campaign. He won the seat on city council. He was elected onto the city council. Well, for anybody from Michigan who knows, Reverend Spivey was investigated for accepting bribes, okay, while on city council. You would have never known that he would have been the type of person. I would have never, ever thought that he would have been the type of person to accept bribes after being elected onto city council, but he did. He was even convicted of it. All you got to do is search Councilman Spivey, Detroit. That's all you got to do, and his name will pop up. And he was convicted. He's serving time in federal prison right now for accepting bribes. Okay. Now, when people get into a certain level of power, temptation will come in. My question is, when you are so high and so close to God that you're actually giving the word to other people, and you let that kind of temptation touch you, like, how are the people that are sitting in the pews that you are preaching to and counseling and all of that stuff, how are people supposed to look at you? And people with that kind of power, with that level of responsibility, they do owe their parishioners something. They owe the community something. They owe everybody something. Most of all, you owe the Most High something. And that's my point. Like, you can really, really, with these, like, I'm going to say, money-driven motivations, you can really turn people away from even wanting to give, because you're thinking you're giving to a thief or a crook. You're not really giving to the church, because if you'll misappropriate the citizens' money or take bribes from the people that are getting jobs with the city of Detroit, what were you doing with the church's money? And that was the question that a lot of the church started to ask once he got arrested. Like, oh, we got to check the book. What was really going on back then? Was that the reason we couldn't pay the light bill? Was that the reason that we couldn't do X, Y, and Z? Because is the pastor actually dipping into the funds that are meant to take care of the church and the community? That's the question.
You want the doors closed. You don't want the doors locked. I couldn't get them locked anyway. It's a convention center. But the doors needed to be closed, and there was a lot of pandemonium stuff that was going on out there. But I wanted to share that first. But that ain't even the reason why I'm here. Here's the reason why I'm here. The reason why I'm here is because...
Did you hear him say there was a lot of pandemonium? Y'all need to search this. If y'all haven't listened to this or followed this outside of YouTube, search it on other platforms like TikTok and Facebook, because people have come onto those platforms telling their side and telling their story. One mother, I don't know if she's real or fake. I don't know. These could be trolls. These could be people that don't like him. But she said that she walked out of the room just before he started asking for the money, and she closed the door, and her 2 daughters was left in the room. They couldn't even get out the door. The usher told them to go sit back down. So it was pandemonium in the lobby area after he told them to close the doors. People got upset about it.
What has happened is people have taken clickbait and made something out of it that it isn't. And because of that, my church has been getting phone calls. People have called my church and cussed me out. My staff are afraid because I've received death threats.
I do not agree with that at all.
$20 and shut the door. People have come to our...
He said over $20 and shut the door. And to me, that's kind of like minimizing what it is, because it wasn't $20 that you were asking for. It was $20 from each person, which could amount to $40,000. So to minimize it or trivialize it like, oh, they just mad about $20. No, it wasn't. The $20 wasn't the issue. The issue was that you said giving is worship. You said giving is worship. And you said it over and over and over again. Like if you're not giving to God financially out of your pocket, you're not worshiping God properly.
Campus, they have come to my church
to
try to cause problems, issues, challenges.
Mookie, if I drop the link, Mookie got a live coming up about this. Mookie, if I drop the link, would you hit the link and give me your perspective on this before your live stream so people can hear and then come over and take part in your live? Do you have a minute?
And again, my children, I don't look at comments. We talk about this. You know, I don't read comments. When you got millions of followers, you ain't got time to be reading all the comments. You just don't have it.
Right.
My children do. And they are afraid. And the reason being is because I'm their only parent. I'm a widower. You know, they're afraid for my safety. So now we've had to update and increase security and all the things I've never had to do before because of the vitriol and the anger that people have shown, the things that they've said in my thread and stuff. And all of this is because of a misunderstanding. And I'm not blaming people. Let me be clear. I'm not blaming anybody because of their misunderstanding. I'm just saying in all you're getting, get an understanding. And if I'm sharing with you that the $40,000 that I was trying to raise, and again, I don't know if the organization got 40, 10, 20, any of it. I don't know. I'm hoping that I actually raised more money so that I can help the organization that has been such a great support to me. These people,
and again, let's be clear. Not a dime of that money.
Not a dime of that money came to me. Not a dime of it.
And where did your money come from?
I've been blessed. I've been extremely blessed. I've sold millions of records. Millions. I'm a songwriter.
How much have you gotten paid from? And we on the radio live.
Right.
How much have you gotten paid from your church?
He ain't gonna tell you that. He is never gonna tell you that. No pastor is ever gonna tell you what they get paid from the church, because a pastor is basically like, well, let me just say this. A church is a business. Okay. They don't even have to file taxes, but the pastor does. His income is not tax exempt. So he's never going to tell you what funds he gets from the church. Most pastors, they homes ain't even in their names. It's in the church's name. Their cars aren't even in their name. It's in the church's name. It's the easiest way to avoid paying taxes. The easiest way is to get yourself a church. Hey, Mookie.
Hey, sis, how you doing? UP, how you doing?
I'm fine. How do you feel about this? I really, really want to hear a man of God speak on it.
Well, this is not a shocking. It can be a shocking to most other people, but those that grew up, Pentecostal church, apostolic, whatever the religious is, this is what they do.
Yeah.
This is what they do. And I'm gonna be talking about this tomorrow because the bishop that he preached in was basically an organization called the Pentecostal Assembly of the World.
They
That
are
is
Pentecostal too.
huh?
They are Pentecostal. I thought they were
Marvin Sapp.
Pentecostal.
Marvin Sapp is apostolic. He used to
I know Marvin
be
Sapp is
in.
apostolic.
Yeah, he used to be in an organization called the Pentecostal Assemblies of the Word. It was him, Noel Jones, Bishop T.D. Jakes. Before Bishop T.D. Jakes used to be, what we call, independent, basically, Potter's House Day, he called it now. He
Yeah,
used to be apostolic in the beginning. He used to be apostolic. But Marvin Sapp used to belong in the Pentecostal Assemblies of the World organization with the PAW.
Okay.
That this is what they taught for years in churches, coming up. So this ain't no shocking to me because I've seen multiple preachers that do that. But I know the presiding bishop, Bishop Brooks of that organization, he just basically wrote a letter out to the whole church saying that was it because people try to make it seem like he told the church to lock the door. So he basically wrote a letter out to the church saying it wasn't any doors locked, basically.
Yeah, I don't think it was any doors locked.
No, they just put that in there to
Yeah,
make
a
it
lot of
seem
people.
like that he said that, but he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't. You
Yeah.
want to finish listening to it and react because
Sure.
you can give me a an opposing position because we might think differently on this. So I really want to
Sure.
hear what you have to say.
Sure.
If anybody
Absolutely.
else wants to come up and give their perspective, you're more than welcome too. I'm not just leaving it to Mookie because we do have Christians in the crowd and we got Christians in the bushes. And if anybody disagrees or wants to, say something or even agrees, I would really love to hear your side.
And let me say this.
Uh-huh. Go ahead, Mookie.
I'm kind of, the type of man that I don't downgrade nobody's belief.
Right.
Of what they believe. If you believe this way, that's your right.
Thank you.
That's your right. You can
I like
agree
people
to
like that.
disagree with somebody's when it comes to, denominations. Why I know I got a cousin that don't believe in hell. Don't believe in hell. But that I don't,
Do they believe
not
in
saying
God?
I agree with him, but I respect his belief. I
Do they
respect.
believe in God?
Yeah,
Like,
they believe in God. It's certain
well,
churches.
they kind of like me. I don't believe in hell, like
Yeah,
a
it's certain churches like.
burning forever.
Have you ever heard of this thing called the doctrine of inclusion? I don't think you
Inclusion.
ever heard of it.
Mm-mm.
They don't believe in they don't believe in hell, but they believe there's a God. They
Yeah,
believe in heaven.
I believe
They
in
believe that
God.
some that people that's from different communities, the LGBT community, they believe they have a right stand their ground and you know they can go to heaven as well, just like everybody else.
Oh, I
You
believe
know,
that too,
yeah,
because
that's
I
the
know
doctrine
that
of inclusion.
I
Yeah,
know that homosexuality is goes past beyond biblical days. So it's not, I don't think that it's something that is taught for everybody. I think that it's something that is, well, I'm not even gonna go into that because we ain't talking about that. We talking about Marvin Sapp. But I could have a whole probably
yeah.
week-long conversation about religion and homosexuality, because when my daughter came out, that was one of my biggest struggles. And I needed, when my daughter came out as lesbian, I needed, because I was so indoctrinated, and I have to say this, I was so indoctrinated by the church. I felt like my daughter was wrong, and I was praying for my daughter's like salvation and all of this stuff, to the point where I felt like it was either I was going to get myself together and maintain my relationship with my daughter, or push her away with my beliefs at that time. And then it took education, because you know my daughter came out very young before I even started seeing things differently. So yeah, I could talk about that forever. Um,
I respect where you coming from. I understand,
yeah.
and you know, a lot of people, when it comes to, if you don't mind me saying this, if when it comes to the culture of the black church,
Oh,
most churches be so religion and damning, you know, homosexuality. And
yeah, but half the church is
when I
gay.
say that, they get so harsh on it because they pick and choose to beat folks up with certain scripture. And if somebody don't believe like they believe, they get offended about it.
Yeah, all sins are the, no sin is greater than the other. So
Yeah.
I don't understand why, you know I
But
mean,
I tell people all the time, most people that comes in that lifestyle, you can't always just damn homosexuality and say, they going to hell for this, that, and the third. Sometimes you gotta look at it from a hurt perspective. There have been people that's basically that been abused, been molested, been
mm,
raped, been touched. If you can't see it from a hurt perspective, then I don't consider you as a real man or woman of God, because a real woman of God will reach out to souls and hear their heart. That's why most people fall in depression and suicidal, because they looking for healing and they want healing, but they can't get it from the church, because most of the church is all about money, and they rather fill up seats than rather fill up heaven. So
and that's what I wanted to say. Most of the churches today are, and I understand the business side of church, because you got to have, lights on, heat on, the air on, all of the things, and you need to keep the church maintained, and you need to pay people, because people ain't working in church for free no more. You literally have to
now,
pay musicians. You have to pay, you know, people to actually, you know,
yeah,
participate in certain activities in the church. So I get all of that. I understand the need for tithing and the need for collecting offering. I
yeah,
just don't understand the need for the excess when you have a pastor who's a multi-millionaire and the parishioners are living paycheck to paycheck, or some don't even have a paycheck. That's my thing, is that it's just the difference in the sharing of the wealth. You know what I'm
but you
saying?
know the reason why some of these pastors got all the money is because of the people in the church.
That's what I'm saying. Because
when
some
they when
people
they
like,
get, why you think they get all these big cars and Rolex and watches and fancy stuff? It's because of the people in the church. They just don't get it for themselves. They just
right,
don't get it just to get it out of, they can get it out of their pocket, but most of the majority preachers that preach like just for money and not for the people of God, they get it because of the people.
right,
They use the stuff for the people. Now I don't agree with a pastor being so money hungry, and if he got stuff, it's okay to give to keep the lights in church on, but it's one thing to be so money hungry so bad to the point where you just want money, and then if somebody don't have it, you get mad about it. I'm not that type of person. I feel like if somebody don't have it, that's understandable. You shouldn't get mad and stop praying for people just because somebody don't have nothing to give. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, I agree. It's the money thing. So we're gonna finish listening to this.
Go
And
ahead.
'cause I think that's what a lot of this is about. What part are you playing? Are you playing? You gonna react to just him
I'll be
asking?
playing that part, and I'm gonna be playing the part that he also said he was getting. You know, the part when he was in the church telling the people to close the doors, and another part that he did an interview where he was saying he was getting death threats from people.
Oh yeah, that's what we about to hear.
Death
Him and
threats
his
from
family are
different
getting
people about
death
what he just said. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna be
yeah.
playing the part of that too.
That's what's crazy. Them death threats. That's crazy.
What you said
I'm
during
gonna
the
tell
commercial.
you.
Yeah.
What people don't know is that I pastored 16 years in the city of Brentwood, Michigan. I founded my church. I pastored 16 years. We had a great church. Still have a great church there. 16 years of pastoring. I never got paid a dime. That's a fact. 16 years.
Now, let me ask y'all in the audience before I ask Mookie. Do y'all believe that any pastor would pastor a church for 16 years unpaid, one dime, just one dime, unpaid? Mookie, what do you think?
I don't think, to my opinion, UP, he got to be getting some type of money. Because if you've been saying you've been pastoring for 16 years and you ain't not got one dime out of your church, that's something wrong.
That's not true. Because the thing about it is, see, Marvin Sapp is being, how do I say it? He's being disingenuous because he's pastoring a church that paid him through a LLC. His home when he was in Grand Rapids, Michigan was owned by the church. The vehicle that he had when he was in Grand Rapids, Michigan was the payments on the vehicle was made by the church. So that's pretty much payment. You know what I'm saying? Those are things that you don't have to pay. If all of your bills are in the church's name and all of your living expenses are through the church, or even some of it is through the church, that is still payment. But what's interesting to me is that it's non-taxable payment. So at the same time, he was still writing music and he was employed outside of the church also. So that's the only income that he claimed. Everything that he got from the church was, basically in the church's name. That's what I want to say. So yeah.
You can call the church. You can ask them. I pastored the Lighthouse for Life Center Church in Grand Rapids, Michigan for free for 16 years. 9 years of those 16 years, I gave a minimum of $30,000 a month to my church. Wow. 30 grand a month to my church to ensure that the church could go forward. We had a lot of stuff. I had a college campus that we had bought. We had 3 other campuses, and my membership had dwindled after my wife had passed because I had to travel more in order to take care of me and my kids. Right. So, my membership, it dwindled, but we never lost anything. And as a matter of fact, this is factual. The day I announced the new pastor, I burned the mortgage of the church. When I left Grand Rapids, I left my church not only debt free, but I left them with 6 figures in the bank and put a brand new pastor in and walked away and moved to Texas. I'm not walking around here trying to be a pimp. I'm not trying to take advantage of people. That's never been my passion. I'm serious about ministry. And let me go one step further.
Let me go on the record as saying I don't think that Marvin Sapp is trying to be a pimp either. And I really honestly don't think that he's trying to take advantage of people either. I think that like Mookie said, that when you grow up a certain way, you grow up in a certain type of church and you believe that these things are the right thing to do. And I was talking the other day about how many different Christian religions there, how many different denominations of Christianity there is. And there's over 45 1,000
There's a whole lot of
denominations of Christianity, and that's a lot of different ways of thinking, a lot of different ways of running a church, and a lot of different ways of looking at salvation. Because most Christians that I know don't believe in the doomsday, and a lot of evangelicals do, and certain churches do, so certain religions do, so I mean certain parts of Christianity do.
Right.
Hey, Chubbs.
other pastors around here that are doing the same thing. Most pastors in America are bivocational, meaning they have jobs outside of their churches. The average church size in America is only 75 people. Look it up. It's factual. So we're not getting rich off the church. I am bivocational. I'm a W-2 employee at my church. I have a syndicated radio show.
He's a W-2 employee at his church. So he's now getting paid, at his church now, the one that he's at. Yeah.
And I do every week to over 60 different markets. I own real estate. I have mutual funds. I have annuities. I have stocks. I play the market. I took my money and I didn't trick it.
Money that you made from
Money that I made from music,
records.
from hit records. I'm one of the only gospel artists with billions of streams.
And you tour.
And I tour. I just came off of a tour.
Sure.
That I made tons of money on. And I'm at the crib right now chilling because I don't have to go on tour. I can wait and do my next day.
Basically, you saying all that to say you don't need no $40,000.
I don't.
Got it.
And I will take it if they gonna give it to me. But I did not raise this money for the premise and purpose.
And that was a program that helped you get to where you
They
are.
gave me a platform. This organization is an organization I grew up in. It's a church organization I grew up in. And I'm appreciative. The reason why I'm gonna bring up the organization, because it ain't none of y'all business. But the point is these people gave me a platform, man. And the reason why I'm known today is because of the opportunities that this organization gave me. So for me to go back and be able to preach and raise finances and give back to them so that they don't have to go in debt. Listen,
hold on. Hold that thought. Hold that thought, y'all. 25 before the top of the hour, y'all. We talk
situation and circumstance is that, I'm literally praying for all of those who have actually spreaded the lie. And the reason being is because I don't think people really understand that when you do things like this, the effect that it has. Like if I was a weak guy, if I was a very weak person with all of the things that people have said in my comments and stuff like that, that my members of my church have read, that my children have read.
Now that kind of triggered me. Y'all know I can't listen. He said if he was a weak guy, and all of this stuff happened to him on social media. And then he talked about suicide. That kind of I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That was kind of like, huh? Like what?
Yeah.
People commit suicide on stuff like this.
Sure.
From this type of attack. And I know for a fact that there are some individuals that really don't have a clear understanding of the systems of the church. But then I know that there are some individuals that are listening, even as I speak, that have been church hurt, and that's the reason why they have a certain level of vitriol and bitterness.
That's true right there.
Yep.
Some people have had church hurt. So for those of you who want to question why I left Christianity, it had nothing to do with being church hurt, because I've never been in a church that did anything vile or never been violated in a church, and never felt like I was ostracized or ridiculed in church. Now, Christians, that's a different story. Like the judgmental aspect of Christianity, that's a whole nother topic right there. And I'm not even talking about please, anybody who's listening to this or might listen to this, don't make this about YouTube, because I'm almost 60 years old and I lived a long life before I ever did one YouTube video. So I'm talking about my life and my experiences, and it don't have nothing to do with nobody on YouTube. That's what I want to say. Right. I want to say that. So that's what I want to say.
As it pertains to the church, this particular situation for me is a church hurting situation, because I did something for the church, but I'm taking abuse because of it. And that's what church hurt is all about. And as I just want people to really understand that this is something that we shouldn't do. Make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you check out everything first. Make sure that you examine the information with clarity and context before you begin to share it. It's sad. I was labeled as a pulpit pimp. Honestly, let me be real, Rick. Some of this stuff is funny. They got this one meme that I was laughing this morning looking at with the Teddy Pendergrass fur coat on, and it got at the bottom of my face. It said, "Close the door." It's hilarious. I'm just telling you, I can laugh at that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But let me go one step further. Everybody ain't able to handle that, and you all have to really, really be cognizant of it. You got to think about before you repost, before you slander, before you go in people's comments and say vile and just vitriol stuff. Make sure you.
But it be Christians saying the worst things, though. To me, a lot of these people that he's talking about, they're Christians. Like they follow the content, they follow his church. A lot of the people that were even at that conference are some of the ones making comments in the comment section. Because I've seen it. I'm glad they finally talked about this. I was there. That happened in Baltimore. It happened in August. I mean, I have seen so many of the comments. These are Christians, your own people that are feeling a way about what's happening. And I think that that's what a lot of this leadership needs to understand, because that's what it is. You are leaders. And we can't call it any other thing. When you have parishioners who look to you for guidance, you are a leader. So when you have people that are telling you, like, this makes me feel this type of way, it needs to be some level of ownership, not just a bunch of blame. Not just a bunch of blame. That's just my opinion, though. What you think, Mookie?
I feel like this. To be honest with you, this is what they do, and I don't understand how he can. I don't know how he can be shocked about it, or maybe he ain't shocked. But most of the people that's watching him on social media is basically the people that's in the church,
right?
That's in the church, that's making the comments. It ain't the unsaved folks that's doing it. It's the people that's in the church that's doing it.
It's not too many black folks that haven't experienced. I don't know too many black people that haven't experienced church and the church on some level. Like,
and I feel like the reason why they probably did that and took that clip, because they feel like this is what most pastors do. This is what most pastors do. They ask for money. They get money. They want more money. And then once you give more, they come back with another offering again. We need another offering again. We need another offer again. This is what they do. Now, the organization that he said he didn't want to talk about, I know that particular organization. The PAW, yes, the PAW. My grandfather, that was a bishop before he passed away, he used to fellowship with some people that's in PAW. He used to fellowship with churches that's in PAW. Yeah. So that's who he's talking about.
The internet is about to pick this apart after this, because the internet, they're gonna dig and try to find everything that they can try to find out, because I know it's a group on Facebook and they were talking about this, and they had put up, like, that's how I know a lot of the information that I know about the house and the car and all of that stuff, because they put it in this group on Facebook. It's kind of like a lot of people are talking about this.
Yep. But see, that's why he said he wasn't going to talk about it, because that's the church organization he grew up. He grew up PAW Apostolic. He grew up there his whole life. And because the head bishop gave him a platform, to get up there to speak and stuff like that. So he felt like, okay, that was an honor, because I ain't been in there for years. That's true. So That's why most of the people the majority of people that don't go to church or that stop going to church or looking at that clip, they're gonna be like, okay, we see these happening before in the churches. And I'm not just saying it's just apostolic church, Kojic church, Church of God in Christ do it.
Yeah.
You know, they get
Baptist,
money hungry
yeah,
too.
Church of God in Christ, the Pentecost. Yeah, everybody does it.
Yeah,
I'm not
Church of God in Christ,
yeah. So
Baptist, you know, in any denomination, you know, that do it. Now, now some folks gonna get mad at me, but I don't care. I'm just gonna make it plain to you. The only denomination that I ain't never seen a church that's money hungry is Catholics.
Catholics,
This is I'm being honest. Catholic church don't get up like most black culture church do and
no, they
ask
don't
for
ask
offering.
for it
They
the
don't
way.
do that. They don't do
No,
that. They have a whole different, you know, denomination of their beliefs. They don't do like most Pentecostal church do. Or we like if you get an offering right now and say, I need 50 people to give me $100, and then when everybody give you $100, then you come back again, or I need to give if everybody give me $200, then they come back more again. Catholic church don't do that.
no.
That's the
They
only
don't,
church
but
that
Catholic
I
churches
know.
don't ask like that, but they do accept offering. They do take
Yeah,
offering. They
they'll
don't
accept
ask for
offerings.
it. They don't ask for it the way, but Catholic churches have their hands in everything financially. Everything.
Yeah,
Everything in the Western world, in the European world, like the Catholic Church has its hand in everything. Catholic churches have the schools. They have it's so many businesses that the Catholic Church owns, and the Catholic Church owns the copyright to the Bible. I don't know if anybody knows that the Bible is copywritten and the Catholic Church owns the copyright to it. Like
can I say this to you, P?
Catholic Church gonna get their money, honey. They
Yeah,
gonna get their money too.
can I say this? And
Mm-hmm.
and I hate to go here. I'm glad you brought this up because I'm gonna have to talk about this on the next live. Not tomorrow live I'm gonna do, but this gonna be a whole different topic I'm gonna talk about. I had a conversation with somebody, and I told them if you look at social media, you
Mm-hmm.
see more black churches, more black preachers getting exposed from hypocrisy than white churches. I said, think about it. Because when it comes to the black culture church, the black culture preachers, especially rich preachers, they're money hungry.
I
They're
see
money
the
hungry.
I see the listen, all of those big the some listen, I'm gonna say this. I have to say this. And people are probably gonna get mad at me too. You say people gonna get mad at you. I think people gonna get real mad at me for this one. The Benny
It's the
Hinn,
truth.
the Benny Hinn's and the big mega churches, some of the biggest, most profitable, laying hands on you, making you pass out, making you do all of these crazy movements. Some of the biggest churches are those evangelical churches and the or the white churches that they bring in millions and millions and millions. The television preachers and all of that, they bring in millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I think that a lot of yeah, the yes, the robbers church and all of that kind of stuff, they bring
Yeah,
in millions of dollars. And I think that a lot of these black folks learn from them how
yeah.
to how to work that system and how to bring that money in and how to like all of that. It's just they say that they're
I
reaching
had
more
a
people, but they're
conversation
gaining
about,
more money.
and I had a conversation with somebody about that, you know, and they were like, well, I disagree. I said, you have every right to disagree. I said, they was like, well, that's what you believe. I said, it ain't what I believe, it's what I know.
Hmm. Well,
I
you have
said,
your
I
hand.
ain't what I believe, is what I know. Is if you look on these social media, it is more black hypocrisy in the church than white churches is. Because
I think
more
because we
black
pay
preachers,
attention to it more.
yeah, more black preachers get exposed from hypocrisy. Why you think most black preachers, when they get caught up doing stuff, they have other preachers covering them, even
Yeah.
when people exposing them through the social media. Period. I have seen, let me tell y'all something. I have been to conferences when preachers, when they wife go to prayer breakfast and they
Mhm.
go to another hotel room and screw the next person.
I used to
I've seen it.
when I was it's a few years ago. I used to watch all of these videos on all of these pastors and stuff that would they were hurting people in the church and doing all of this stuff. When all of that stuff about the priests came out and about them messing with the little kids and them impregnating the nuns and all of that kind of stuff, I think it's corruption
Yeah.
everywhere. I think corruption is not it's not a racial thing. It's not a black or white or red or brown thing. I think it's a global thing. I just think it's a human thing. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
true.
I think that's it's some people have it's a human nature, and it's in some people's nature to take advantage of certain
Yep.
things, certain situations. So money, they say the love of money is the root to all evil, right? The
Yep.
love of
And they'll
money.
sit you down if you ain't paying your tithes and offering. They will
Yes,
sit. I know preachers that would strip people from their position if they don't give.
really.
And then some preachers, they'll be like, somebody be like, well, I can't get to work. My car broke down. I don't have no money. And then I hear churches, black churches, they will say stuff like, well, we don't do stuff like that. We don't
Mm.
help people like that. It's not our fault. Give more, tithes more. This is what, and see, when I'm telling y'all the stuff that Marvin Sapp is saying is really nothing new under the sun, because this how the church was taught. Pentecostal churches was taught. They was taught like that in an apostolic church. In Church of God in Christ, they was taught like that. This is how most denominations teach. This is what they do.
It was this
Especially if it's a big organization.
it was this church. It's not even a big church either. I don't know how many members they have, but it was a couple of summers ago, a church in Detroit, not too far from my mom's house, and they were giving away free bikes, right? And they had all of these bikes. It looked like it was hundreds of bikes out there. They had all of these bikes, and it was filling up the church parking lot, and all of these bikes had these bows on them, just bows. And I'm like looking like, what in the world, all of these bikes? And it was a line, just a line, and you saw people in Mercedes lined up. You saw people in Range Rovers lined up to get a bike. I was seeing all of these luxury vehicles lined up get a free bike, and I'm thinking the people in the neighborhood probably could have used that bike, or somebody like really really poor. Like, I'm thinking, like, if you driving a Range Rover, can't you buy your kid a bike? I don't know.
Mm.
I was just thinking, like, some people even take it, like, I was even when you go to when you be seeing people, they be going to them little food pantries and stuff like that. They be driving the nicest, but they could be picking up food for somebody else. I don't know.
Mhm.
There I go judging. Let me finish this so we get out of here. But yes, a lot of you said you the church. Spencer says she the church treasurer and she counts and reports the giving, but I don't tell or show the pastor the envelopes showing who gave what. Really, Spencer? So when you're the church treasurer, when you do that, you don't show the pastor who gave what. Some pastors are so hands-on with that money part, you wouldn't be able to get that past them, honey. They want to
Mm.
know who giving and how much they giving.
They sure do.
Shoot.
They don't know how much you tithing in the church, how much you
Mhm.
making.
Yeah, because I know it's some churches out here in Michigan. You got to show them your like what you make per year. Like you have to prove that to them. And then they set up the amount that you're supposed to tithe. And they give you the number that you're supposed to tithe every week or every month or whatever, however you pay it. They let you know based upon your income. They tell you to go. It's a part of the, like when you are a new member or whatever, and you come in, you have to bring all of your monetary information. You got to show them what you make, and then you have they set up. You tell them what your bills are and all of that kind of stuff, and they tell you what you're supposed to tithe, honey.
They do that.
Let Marvin keep talking so we can get off of here.
Know for a fact what it is that they've done. Now, if I was had babies all over the country, if I was, stealing money, if you found out that I was actually stealing money, I wouldn't mind being dragged. I wouldn't. But that's not what I done. And that's not what I did. The only thing I did was honor the leadership of our church's organization when they asked me to take up an offering. I tried to raise $40,000 for the organization, not for me personally. Right. The money that I make, I write songs, I own businesses, I have multiple streams of income. I have been good with the money and a good steward over the finances that God has given me. So
you don't have to explain.
At 58 years of age, if I don't drive a certain kind of car, there's a problem. That means I tricked off my money. You
worked hard for it.
I work and still work
hard. And on tour and getting on planes.
Absolutely. Planes, trains, automobiles, hotels, motels, holidays.
And rehearsals. And singing and preaching on Sunday. And rehearsals and writing the song and producing and the hours and hours in the studio. Yeah, you worked hard for that. And what was your number one hits?
My number one hit was Never Would Have Made It.
Never Would Have Made It.
48 weeks in number one. Yeah, 48 weeks in number one. When it first came out, I sold 4 million ringbacks and ringtones.
Come on, man.
4 million. Yeah. Y'all do the math. Y'all do the math. Who do you know that can work a job for 16 years and don't get paid? Who do you know that can give $30,000 a month to a church for 9 years? Do the math. Yeah. Do the math and walk away from it. This ain't about.
Well, if you give $30,000, 100% of your donations to your church is supposed to be tax deductible. So if you're giving $30,000, he gave $30,000 a month to his church for 9 years. He said 9 years while not being paid to pastor the church. Very interesting. See, the thing about it is a lot of I disagree with what he did as far as accepting telling the ushers to close the door the way that he did it. I still think
the way his atmosphere was, it wasn't right.
Right. I still
the way he did it. I totally disagreed with it too. I didn't like that either.
Yeah. But I still think that the church does have every right and should, and it is a business and it does need to be run. It's a business of salvation or spirituality or whatever, but you still have expenses. So I'm gonna
say this too, UP. What he was saying, he was trying to raise that money for, the organization was trying to get him to raise 40,000, basically. Now, I'm gonna say this. I believe that is true. But I know others that are looking at it is not going to believe the same way.
No, I believe that's true.
He won't. Yeah, they're gonna feel like, he want that money for himself, because they know how most preachers, they when they 50 rich like that, they get money hungry. They want more. I've seen preachers, leaders go online, get like $200 or $300 from people and get $1,000 in one day, just begging for money.
Well, they said they estimate if they got everything that they asked for, they estimate that they more than likely got over $80,000 in that one day.
Yeah.
Now, that's what they estimate because of but that doesn't mean that everybody got up and paid that money, or everybody gave the $20 or the $500 or the $800 that the other pastor was asking for. You don't know what was given throughout that day. You don't know how much it was to to rent the convention center or the church or wherever
Yeah,
it was.
and the money could be going based off the like you say, the convention center building. It could have
Right,
been going off of that.
right,
People don't look at that too, because
right.
most pastors don't just get money for themselves. When they bring other preachers in to preach and they say, "Hey, we need to raise a certain amount of gold because we have to get out of here at a certain time, this, day, and the third." Most people don't know all that money. When they ask for that, most of them don't go to them. It goes to the to the preacher so he could pay for the building and stuff.
Right.
That's what they do.
Yeah. Well, he said he had to pay a couple of $1,000s himself. I think he gonna talk. Well, he talked about it on stage where he said he had to
Yeah,
pay some money to get his his license reinstored to preach
yeah.
and
Reinstore. He
all
had to restore his pastor
reinstated,
license.
reinstated. Yeah,
Yep, reinstated it.
yeah.
$40,000. I don't know what it's about,
Hey,
but I
Marvin,
want to be clear.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Can I?
Go ahead.
You've done a fantastic job of explaining in detail, the
You
whole
did better than me because
situation.
I'd have been going off.
No. You've done
That's why
a
you're a Christian and
fantastic
I'm-
job
yeah.
of explaining yourself. It brings to mind the saying that why run with the truth when the lie is way more entertaining.
Absolutely.
And that's what has happened in this case. And I respect pastors who actually do the good work like you're talking about, but I think it's become real popular over the last few years for people to attack people in your position. It started with the
I
whole
think that's what
cripple
you was
dollar and the
talking about,
plane thing. It
Mookie.
just became real fashionable. But our people who are attacking you, you really need to examine your own life. If you are making death threats and typing
Yeah,
out violent kind of things
yeah.
like that over this situation, you really need to sit back and think about where you are in life. That says a lot about you. That's
Yeah, I
crazy.
want to say this to you, man.
Yep,
God just
that's
put this
true.
on my heart, and I'm nowhere in ministry as you. I just love God, and I do a praise break on the show every morning. Remember what all y'all pastors taught us, that all of this is only a test.
Oh, Doc, I believe in it. And let me close. I can close by saying this. I'm driving down the road, and honestly, Spirit of the Lord spoke to me and said, Marvin, this is going to be a teachable moment. And I said, okay, God, well, what are you trying to teach me? He said, well, I'm trying to teach you exactly what you've been singing for years. That after this, you're going to be stronger. You're going to be wiser.
Come on.
You're going to be better. You're going to be so much better. And I want my church to know that, I stand
And
in.
you know what? That's true. Anything that man push you through or the world push you through, it does make you stronger. It makes you wiser.
Yeah,
It teaches you how to move in a different way. And and if you don't grab that education that gives to you, and if you don't harness it and make it work for you, you're gonna be in a vicious cycle of repeating the same thing over and over and over again. And I think that this experience might have taught him that might not be the direction that he needs to go in the future. This might have actually helped him. That
yeah,
he might need to have a softer approach at the way that he, commands the room, because he definitely commanded the room that day.
yeah. And it was good that he really brought his side of the truth out, because sometimes people will take a half a clip of what somebody say and they'll take it and run with it, but not hear the whole thing of what was going on, or not considering or talking to the person.
Right.
I have seen people that did that. They took a clip, just like a preacher that I know, for example, preached about. He said he didn't believe in hell,
Uh-huh.
but he said hell was a fairy tale. But he never said he didn't love God. And some people took that clip and say, "Oh, he said Jesus was fake," and he didn't say that.
Yeah.
So
That's what a lot of people are saying about me, because I said I don't, believe that the Bible was, a book written by God, and I'm no longer a Christian. Some people actually say, "Oh, I didn't know you was an atheist." No, you can actually love God, love the Lord, love God, and not love religion, not love a certain religion, not believe in a
that's
certain,
true.
you should be going in a certain way. Or oh my God, this phone keeps on ringing.
That's true.
My phone keeps on ringing.
So true.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm gonna finish
some
playing
people
this.
got mad at my daddy because my daddy told people
Mm-hmm.
people took that so to the point where they thinking that my daddy never don't believe in God at all. But when I talked to daddy, daddy said, he said, son, I never said wasn't no God. He said, I never said that Jesus Christ wasn't a savior. He said, I said most of the majorities Pentecostal churches don't believe in hell. He said, if they do believe in hell, look how they live it. And look what they doing. He said, if you think about it, if you tell the 99% people in the black church, these Pentecostal apostolic church and Kojic church, is they going to hell from screwing women and cheating on their wife, they going to tell you no. He said,
My
but they
thing
believe
is,
in the lake of fire. But they judging homosexuality. They judging the people out there in the world. But none of them don't believe that they going. But they'll take a sinner who is on drugs, who is doing this, who have fall short, who is not even in the church, and they gonna cast them in the lake of fire. And that's what he was talking about.
mm,
And he
okay.
said, some of y'all preachers get mad at me. He said, you cannot refute that. He said, some of you preachers that's in the Pentecostal churches, God ain't even called you to preach. He said, some of you are in it because of the money. Some of you in it because somebody told you you was going to be a bishop. Somebody told you was going to be a apostle or a prophet and all that type of stuff. You didn't seek the Lord for yourself. Some of you in it because of the money. Some of you in it because somebody done told you. And I
Yeah.
told daddy, I said, I understand where you coming from. And then somebody told him, well, that's just what you believe. Daddy said, no, it ain't what I believe. It's what I'm saying is true. He said, I've studied
And
and
we
I've
what
dug the
you saying
Bible
is true because he studied the Bible and that's what he
and he
believes.
researched it.
Yeah, and he believes the words in the Bible.
And he
That's
said,
his
I'm
belief.
telling you, a lot of people don't believe like they say they believe. That's what he was saying.
Right. So do you think that you can believe in that there is a God and not believe? Because some people say that you can't believe in God if you don't believe that Jesus was the Messiah. What do you think? I know
I
that's a
mean, you can. It's based on your interpretation and your perspective or whatever you believe. Cause see, I'm the type of person, I don't knock down nobody believes. If
mm-hmm.
somebody want to go gay, that's their right and that's their belief. If somebody choose to say, "Oh, I want to do this and I want to do that," that's their belief. I know people that don't go to church and they say, "Well, I don't believe in church no more. I don't believe in church." That's their belief. You can't knock down people belief or what their belief.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe there is a God. I do believe that you can still believe in God and Jesus Christ. If that's your perspective, I do believe that. Now I'm gonna break something down too.
Don't be
I'm
giving
not
me
the
all
type
the
of
good stuff. You still got a live to do, and I want people to come over there. So go
yeah,
ahead and tell
I'm
me
not
what
the
you're gonna
type of
tell me, but don't be
person.
giving me all the good stuff, Mookie.
I'm not the type of person that knock down people's belief. Some
Mm-hmm.
people get mad at me because I grew up in a Pentecostal church. That was like that. Hold on one second.
I did too. Well, I know, cause no, the Pentecostal churches I grew up in, ain't gonna. I almost said the elder's name, but we used to call our pastor elder so and so. We didn't call him reverend or nothing like that. He was elder. So I grew up.
I'm
Oh,
sorry. That was my wife calling me.
okay.
Yeah, that was my wife calling. I'm a family man. I told people that I'm a family man.
Hey, Mookie
But
Wife.
but yeah, a lot of I grew up in an apostolic church where I have seen old preachers damned homosexuality, not even giving them a chance of space or grace enough to let them know that God is still God of love. You
You know
know,
what? In my church, I grew up Pentecostal. I don't ever recall homosexuality even being mentioned. I don't in any church that I've ever gone to, I don't recall any preacher really pressing the whole homosexual thing. That wasn't a big deal back then, but when I got older, some of the churches that I visited, they pressed that really hard, but
yeah,
yeah.
like if the homosexual ain't been baptized, they going to hell. If you living this way, you going to hell. This is what the church was taught for years.
So
For years.
what about people who haven't been exposed to Western religion or the knowledge of Jesus Christ? Are they automatically doomed or damned to hell without just having the knowledge? Them being
Most the majority, if in the Pentecostal church, yeah.
and see, that's the
Most the
thing that I
majority.
don't understand is
Most
that
the majority. Because they preach what we call the a fear. They want to put the fear of God in you, basically. But
yeah,
some of them put it in a harsh way,
yeah.
you
Well, I
know.
don't fear God. I don't fear hell. I don't none of that is a concern to me. And I think that that's a part of when you let go of like those religious beliefs, because they're just religious beliefs, because not everybody interprets what Jesus said in the Bible the same way. A lot of
Hmm.
a lot of faiths use Jesus's story and uses the Jesus, but not only Christians interpret it the way that they interpret it, and they all talk about something different too. So
And to be
it's
honest with you,
kind of
most of
tricky,
Pentecostal Christian churches go by what they've been told. They
right?
don't get in the word for themselves. That's why the Bible says, "Study, show yourself approved." They don't get in the Bible. If you look at the 99% majority of the black church, Pentecostal church, they go
Yeah, I
by
remember
what they've
James.
been told.
Yeah, she
They
talking
go
about, do
by
I
what they
remember James
told.
Cleveland? You don't remember
Oh
James Cleveland,
yeah,
Spencer?
yep. I remember
James
James Cleveland.
Cleveland. Yeah. And then that's the other thing. You have all of these preachers who were in the pulpit for all of these years, and then when they pass on, that's when you find out that they were homosexuals, that they were in relationships with men, or or that they have all of these outside families and all of this stuff. You'll
Okay.
start finding out all of that stuff. That stuff be rumored though, but yeah.
Yeah, they do. But see, they can say a lot about James Cleveland. But let me tell you some majority these gospel artists that's in the lifestyle, some of them write great music, and some people are still listening to it to this day. They can talk about them all they want, but some of y'all still listen to their music.
Listen, my aunt, she told me, she said, I said, well, Donnie McClurkin, he said he's not homosexual anymore. She said, he said that God freed him from the demon of homosexuality, right?
He got connected with Bishop Marvin Winans, but I'm gonna tell you now, that's gonna be a whole nother live because I done
Oh
got into too much.
Lord. I want to participate in that live because I got a whole lot to say
But I
about.
will give you a little half of it. They said that Donnie McClurkin could not stand Marvin Winans' ex-wife Vicky Winans. I'm just gonna give you just a part of that. He could not stand her
Mhm.
because she would bash him and the things that he went through coming up, him being in, homosexuality, because he said he was molested
Right.
when he was 8 years old because he was coming from his brother's funeral. He
Mhm.
was molested by his uncle. And see, that's why I tell people all the time, don't just judge somebody in their lifestyle. Sometimes you got to look at people from a hurt perspective. When people get in that lifestyle, you got people that been raped, been molested, and being this, and then you want to tell them, oh, they going to hell for what they did. They going to. That's why it's hard for most people to find God, because Ain't nobody trying to extend grace
Right.
and
Right.
listen to the person's heart. This is why most people say, but this is why I don't go to church no more. I don't go. I got some family members that don't go, but I don't knock them down or judge them, you know. And
Right.
that's understandable because if you look at the church now, sometimes the church, I'm just gonna be straight up and I don't care who get mad at me. The church is a joke now. If you listen to what I'm saying, it's a joke now. It ain't like how it was when people was sincere back in the day. When people was concerned for the souls, they weren't concerned about money and tithing. They was concerned about the soul. That means if somebody was coming in, if he was a dope head or a wine head, they would send there and extend grace. The old mothers would pray for them. Even with people that was in the lifestyle of homosexuality, they will pray for them. They will extend grace. Now, if you look at the church today, it's all about money now. It's all about popularity. And Jesus did not do none of that stuff in the Bible. He did not do none of that. You ain't never seen Jesus being money hungry. To be honest with you, he told the rich man in the Bible to sell all your stuff and give it to the poor. And the rich man didn't even want to do it.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna finish playing this. Mookie got company, and I'm about to get out of here. I'm about to go down here and fix me something to eat. But I'm gonna finish playing this so we can get up out of here, y'all. That's so true. This is good though.
Integrity, and that I'm here to protect the integrity of our church, the Chosen Vessel Church in Fort Worth. And while I'm here, I might as well invite all of y'all to come to University of Texas Arlington and be with me on Easter Sunday, because we're going to give God a crazy praise. We're going to magnify him. We're going to glorify him at 11 a.m. in Fort Worth.
In the midst of all of this, you can still find room to bring people close, to take this opportunity to use this situation to bring people closer to God. That says a lot about
it's not about, one of the things I've learned in pastoring, and one of my members asked me this yesterday. She was like, I don't understand how you can take this and keep smiling and preaching and you kind of acting like it's not bothering you. And I had to tell them, I learned that sometimes God gives you a grace for certain situations in life. And this is one of the situations that I've been graced for. So, at the end of the day, I'm not angry at anyone. Yeah. I'm not upset. I understand, people, and I'm going to say this.
Yeah, you're not going
no
to
matter
church
what
for
I
man.
say, there are some people that have already made up their minds what they feel about Marvin Sapp. And they, no matter.
And that's true. And you know what? I'm gonna say this. Marvin Sapp, if he steps away from this conversation is going to eventually step away from him. If he keeps on feeding into it, it's going to keep on feeding off of him. And that's the thing that you have to understand. When you are, if what he's saying is true and factual and everything, when you're really free and you're really pursuing the Most High, and the Most High is what you are focused on, you're not going to be focused on the words of man. You're just not. You're not going to be focused on what they have to say, because the Most High is going to give you that, like he said, the grace or the energy to let you know that the path that you're taking is the right path. He'll prove that to you every way that you turn. You'll be able to see it, even if nobody else can. And that's what I wanted to say. So whatever decision, Marvin Sapp makes for his life is horrible. That people are sending him death threats. That is horrible. It's horrible that his family has to be in a position of fear. What he did was not, I don't know, sends the impression that it wasn't from the right place, but he's saying it was. And I don't know Marvin Sapp. I don't know his heart either. I just know that, honey, this doggone prosperity preaching is turning a lot of people off. And that's the thing, that I'm not by myself with walking away from the church. Is so many millions and millions of people who have walked away from the church and walked away from religion who still believe in God. And that should let the church know that there's something that needs to be fixed. Something has to happen to bring, the people back to wherever you feel like they need to be. Or something needs to happen to prevent new seekers from being deterred before they even get what they need, and before they even find their place. So that's all I wanted to say. Marvin, yes, Marvin, learn from it and move on. Learn from it and move on. Mookie, you want to say anything before we get up off of here? He's on mute now, y'all.
Oh, yeah. I just want to say thank you for having me up here on this live today. It was really good.
Thank
I
you.
believe this is my first time hitting your panel.
I think it is, sir. I didn't hit your link, but
Yeah, it's
but now you didn't
first time
hit my
hitting your
link.
panel.
Yep. So I
Yeah,
appreciate you
it was
coming
pretty
up.
good.
I
It was
thank you for
pretty
coming up,
good.
and I'm going to share you out, and I'm going to participate in your live when you do it tomorrow. What time is your live tomorrow?
Oh, it's gonna be between either 2:55 or 3 o'clock that afternoon. Two
Okay.
fifty-five that afternoon or 3 o'clock.
So y'all look out for Mookie.
Bam.
If one of my mods can drop his link in the chat before we get up off of here. Thank you, Mookie.
You
Thank you for
welcome.
coming up. Okay, I know you got things to handle, so
Yeah, family
have a good
doing it.
day. Have a blessed day.
I tell people this is not my life on here. I got a family to feed and take care of.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Yeah.
I'm,
But thank you for having me up.
thank you for coming up. I
All
appreciate
right.
it. Okay. So yeah, y'all go ahead and y'all make sure that y'all check out Mookie's live tomorrow. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for staying, because I know this is not the type of conversations that we normally have, but I felt like, because I've been called the devil so much, and oh, you're evil, you're evil. I think that that's the reason why I need to shut up now, because I need for y'all to see what true evil really looks like, how it feels, how it smells, how it moves. And sometimes you have to take yourself out of the conversation and out of the situation so people can see things clearly for themselves. I'm all about, the sacrifice. I understand that there has to be a sacrifice, you know. Um, so I just want to thank y'all. I want to thank y'all. Thank you, Samantha. Yeah, I do. I love the different points of view too. Um, Whenever I said I wasn't gonna go over to Nunu's live anymore or anything like that because of what happened the last time, but I'm not going to let anybody, not anybody on this platform, keep me away from the people that actually support me in front of the scenes and behind the scenes, and Nunu is one of them, and I'm not going to allow that to happen. So any conversation that Nunu wants to have and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to definitely have it, because I like talking to Nunu. He is so different from me, and his thoughts and his perspectives are so different. And then he has some similar thoughts too. You know what I'm saying? So I like to talk to people who think differently and who don't just sit there and be your yes man and your yes woman and agree with everything that you say. I think debate is the one of the highest forms of education, because you can learn from different people. And sometimes you don't know that some people that you never think can teach you something can teach you a multitude of things if you listen. If you listen. So listen, y'all, thank each and every one of y'all for coming out today. I cannot tell y'all when I'm going to be live again. I know I have to change the title. I'm probably going to change the thumbnail too, because I wasn't feeling like a warrior today. Like not an outward warrior. Um I'm starting to realize and recognize that all of this stuff happened for a much greater purpose. A much greater purpose than even I even understood. And bitch, I think I be knowing mostly everything. That's not arrogance. That's just admittance. Like I be thinking like, oh girl, you know what's coming. But I think that everything, and I'm talking about absolutely everything, happened for a reason. And it's going to be a greater purpose that's going to happen behind all of this. And a lot of the people that are screaming what they are nothing close to that. Nothing close to that. So y'all have a blessed and beautiful rest of y'all day. Yeah, Miss Alice's live was really good. Y'all saw her live the other day. It was really, really good. And what I do like that. And if y'all don't listen, this woman, Queen of Queen, y'all, she don't get enough views. Queen of Queen, she be on it too. And she's a, I didn't even know she was an author. Like, she be speaking the facts too, and she has her own opinion about things. And Blue, and it's so many different people that have different approaches to, situations out here. And it's so many names I can't even begin to tell y'all. Oh, he's good, Spencer. Listen, Spencer, let me tell you about, before I get off of here, I gotta give y'all the Baby UP story. So I let Baby UP watch Shadow's little video about him, right? So he was like, he calls me Firefly. I said, yeah, he calls you Firefly. So so the other day, Baby UP, he got him a little girlfriend at school, right? And he said he told his little girl, I'm not gonna say her name, Lord Jesus. The ops will be stalking her too, just like they stalk my grandson, and you do. Okay, so he says he told his little girlfriend in school that his new nickname was Firefly, and she said, that's a girl's name. He said, Nine, is Firefly a girl's name? I said, no, that's not a girl's name. He was like, oh, I almost said her name. He said, she said it was a girl's name. I said, no, it's not a girl's name. That's what Shadow named you. That's Shadow's little nickname for you. He was like, okay, well, I'm going to be Firefly on YouTube, but I'm going to be Aiden at school. I said, okay, you be Aiden at school. You be whoever you want to be. I just think that the innocence of childhood is so it warms your heart. I see all of these people out here saying the most disgusting things about children and families and stuff like that. Just sick. I'm about to get up off of here before I start talking about something that I'm not even supposed to talk about. Y'all have a blessed and beautiful rest of y'all day, okay? I will see y'all soon. If not with the live, it will be with the video. I don't know what the topic will be, but y'all have a blessed and beautiful rest of y'all night, okay? And bye.